Hey guys, this is Dan back with hopefully my final video on this particular one. Why did I do that? But I plan to finish this now. I still got a few things I need to add. I fixed the skeleton since the last time. Well, I say fixed. I've given her a different pose and I've put the skull there because I was doing it. I'm not very good at drawing anatomical characters yet. I'm still practicing, so I changed the way he was sitting because if I remember how did I add it, I think I just had him like that. But I've given him sort of, I don't know, a sort of tongue-in-cheek stance, I suppose. You know, he's just sitting there casually with his head on the seat when obviously he's been dead for a long time. I fixed some of the anatomy of the skeleton because before that it wasn't looking right at all. I'm just gonna sort of fancy everything up. I still got a few additions I want to do. I think I want to add more what do you call it, vines, I suppose you call it, you know, like the earth, the planet is taking this bus back. Where did that come from? I don't know where I've got that bloody thing from. The skull there, I think I need to work on the shading of that a bit more. But I think it's there. I think I'm going to add another crow because I like the crows. I'm going to work a tiny bit on the outside, but I don't want to detail the outside especially in the distance too much because you're not going to see that anyway. You know, don't forget it's going to be about that size. Just here, fall of each book, by the way. But it's going to be about that size when it's if it gets to the point where it's printed. I'm also going to try and add light rays coming in from the this way. Even though the sunshine is coming from both angles of the bus, the sun is more on that side. It's on that side, so it's coming down into the bus. You know what I mean? That's the plan, anyway. I was gonna try and make that side darker because unfortunately a while ago I flattened those two layers where I had the seats on compared with the walls of the bus, and if I want to make that darker now I'm gonna have to bloody just go over it. I could just use a lower opacity brush to do it. I don't know. See, I never think this far ahead. Do you know what? I think I'm gonna flatten everything. Because I've got so many things on different layers now. I've got a light layer, I've got a dead people layer, a clutter layer, crows layer, bus interior layer, car layer, which I probably don't need, street decor, and background city. I think I need to flatten everything. I think I need to just start working on one layer because I won't get confused then of what I've done on this layer and what I've done on that layer. So I think I'm gonna flatten it. But a good artist I follow on YouTube, Borodante his name is, he says it is, and I've tried this a few times, and it has worked, is when you're working with layers, it's good, but certain blending techniques don't work so well in layers. You should have the mic over here. And I agree with him. So I think you should work on one, once you've got the structure and what have you down, you should work on one layer, then it won't force you making stupid mistakes like I've made this entire drawing, where you're working on one, you go work on something else, and then you come back and you forget what layer you're working on, and then you mess up that particular one because you're doing it on the wrong layer this time, and the blending doesn't quite gel. So I'm gonna flatten it. Yeah, I'm gonna flatten it, bugger it. See, look, now I've flattened it, you can also see some of the mistakes on those layers, because that line there, that is not supposed to be there. So that was probably something I did on a different layer, but it was behind that bus one, and for whatever reason, when it's flattened it now, it's brought it to the front. So, so you see where I mean, where flattening it is sometimes a good thing. Okay, so I've pretty much finished it now. Let me just add the essential parts first. I'm in Illustrator now because this is where the font is coming from. Because Critter doesn't do fonts very well. That's pretty much it. I've already showed my mate. He's happy with it. I'm gonna crop this down a bit to get the bottom up a bit because it's sort of over there actually. Since I carried on a bit after I stopped recording for the other middle of this video or something. I don't know. I just carried on after I stopped recording because I was recording bloody videos all over the place. But that is pretty much the finished product. I'm gonna finalize it and just fancy it up off video because you don't want to see that as boring stuff. But there's a few things I did change from people because I put this out on Twitter. I put it in a few Discords and I got a lot of feedback, which I'm glad for. This still doesn't quite look, but a few people said it looked like a rabbit head, and I realized this as I drew it. I don't know how I drew it to look like a rabbit's head. I grabbed a few references of gas masks, and I have no idea why it came out like a rabbit's head, but I've messed about with that. I've put black straps on it this time instead of green straps because the green straps looked like the rabbits use. I don't know, and I squished it a bit. Sort of works. I think it looks a bit better. This skull initially, if I zoom in, this skull initially was too small, so I made that a bit bigger, and I still have to sort of shade the inside, the sockets, the eye sockets of that. I've added a box which fell over in the middle of the aisle with stuff in it. You know, various stuff. But like I said, I'm gonna just finalize this now once I've stopped recording because it'll just be little nagging bits which I just want to tidy up. But that is pretty much it. The city outside, I've carried on a bit more, but it's going to be in the distance. It's going to be out the focus. The focus is the interior of this bus, not the outside. So I didn't want to detail outside too much because that's not where the focus is going to be. The one hindsight I did have when I sent this sketch to my mate a couple of weeks back now is to leave a dark area up the top for the text. I knew that much. Everything else, I had to wing it and screwed myself up along the way. But I am very happy with how that's turned out. Again, that barrel in the back I'm going to tidy up. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to tidy up on here, but the structure of it is done. I think this is the longest any drawing has ever taken me. Like, I've had long drawings, like, I don't know if you can see it. That Spelunky one right there, I think it was the longest one until this one. But I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy. I've left a few... I haven't told Paul I'm doing this. I've left a few video game Easter eggs in there. You know, it's not gonna take away from the book cover. It's about an apocalyptic wasteland or stories, tales of the apocalypse, like it says. I've left a few video game Easter eggs in there, see if you can spot them. They're quite obvious, actually. But that's there. It looks like some satanic symbol, but it's actually the sign for hope in Hindu, I think it is. I looked it up. I wanted something. I'm not saying this skeleton here was the guy reading that book, but I wanted for the bus to have like a lived-in area, or someone's been there either in the last few weeks or the last few months or the last few years, and they lived in this area. But that book, I wanted to have them, maybe they were reading that, and it's the sign of hope in an apocalyptic wasteland. Those things there, they're supposed to be, where are they? Glow sticks. Emergency glow sticks. Again, you know, there's a lot of things I'm just going to finalize off video. But the structure's there. I'm overall happy with how it's turned out. I do need to create the spine and the back, but the spine and the back, it's not going to be... I don't think I'm going to have like any design on the spine or the back. I'm just going to sort of like color match the cover in a certain way with various shades of blue and browns and greens and stuff, you know. So that is it. I can now move on to another drawing, because as much as I've enjoyed this has taken up my time for quite some time now, for quite a while, and I'm happy it's done. I can move on and draw other stuff, even though I still got, I think, 8 chapter headers that I got to draw. But he told me an interesting thing yesterday, and I didn't think of this. I phoned him, and he said, and it makes sense, because of the cost-wise, that the chapter headers will have to be black and white. Or grayscale, like one of those. So I'm going to do the chapter headers, but I'm still going to colorize them my usual way, because that's the way I paint. I paint with light shade and color. You know, I can't help it. It's my style. And then maybe, I don't know, just grayscale it, basically. So I got 6, I think it's 6 or 8 chapter heads I need to do. Next one I'm going to do is the Boston Dynamics one. I'm looking forward to getting onto that one. The left one there, that's the initial sketch I sent, or one of the sketches I sent my mate. 3 sketches for the book cover. That was one of them. So if you missed the first video, you wouldn't have seen this. But that was the very first sketch I sent him of an idea for the book cover. Because I sent him one which was the Boston Dynamics one, where he's peeking through the door, which you'll see at the later date. The bus one, and another one is like a sort of a deserted motorway road going towards a distant city, decrepit, apocalyptic city. But that one went very good. But that was the initial sketch I sent my mate Paul. And as you can see, the bus and the car, the skeleton, they pretty much stayed the same, you know, from my initial sketch. But I think it's come a long way, as I'm sure you can see. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with how that's turned out, and yeah, I'm glad I'm moving on from this one, as much as I've enjoyed it. But anyway, that was my drawing a book cover series, which I've never drawn a book cover before, and who knows if I ever will again. But I've really enjoyed doing this. I've learned a lot doing this. You know, I'm still a relative beginner. I've only been doing this digital painting stuff for about 9 months, something like that. My first official one. I don't know if you can see it. There was the Xenomorph, which I was really happy with how that came out for my first ever painterly style. I've done a few line art styles, but not much. But my first painterly one was that Xenomorph. I think I'm going to go through all my drawings at some point, just to show you how far I've come in 9 months. I'm not saying there's big bounds and leaps, but it's definitely an improvement from the first painting to here, you know. So, but anyway, I'm rambling, as I always do. And I hope you've enjoyed this series. I'm going to come back again. I'm itching to paint another video game. I like painting video game stuff in my own, you know, my own perspective, imagination. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. But yeah, that was the book cover for Tales of the Apocalypse. Soon to be out in probably 2020. I don't know. Depends how long it takes me to do these bloody chapter headers. Hopefully this year, actually. End of this year, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you're new to my channel, I do these quite often. Leave a sub and click on the bell icon, because that's the only way you're going to see these videos. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.